Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, still waiting on the Victoria driver license office to reopen? You're not alone. Here's what you need to know. Plus, the Lavaca River cleanup is back for its third year. Find out how to make a real impact in downtown Hallettsville. And wildfires raging in the Carolinas with major flooding in South Texas. The latest on extreme weather coming up.
Well, our stormy weather is finally moving out. As a matter of fact, you should be seeing clearing skies for the rest of the afternoon. You can see all the big stuff pulling out of here. We'll be clearing up for the night, and for tomorrow, it's looking pretty good. We'll be talking about that, but we're taking a toll on all of the rainfall totals and all of the flooding problems that we've had around the state. All that coming up in a moment.
Plus, Seadrift leaders are tackling major issues at the sports complex with plans for a big fix in the works. You're watching 25 News now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Shawna Currie. The Victoria driver license office is still temporarily closed for maintenance, according to the Texas Department of Public Safety. In the meantime, customers can visit the Port Lavaca or Cuero offices for services. DPS has also sent Victoria's staff to those locations to help with the extra workload. If you had an appointment in Victoria, you should have received a notification about the change back in October. DPS officials say it could be a year or more before the office reopens. This brings us to our viewer poll today. How are you handling the Victoria DPS closure? Have you gone to another office, delayed your visit? Are you still unsure about what to do, or has it not had an impact on you at this point? We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And 45%, almost half of you, say no impact on me at this point. And then still unsure what to do, 29%. Continue voting. We'll have the latest numbers on 25 News now at 6. Well, the rain is letting up here a bit, so what are we looking forward to this weekend? Let's go to Mac Perez for our first look at our forecast. Mac?
Well, for one, is we're going to be picking up the pieces. I mean, we have quite a bit of, little debris blowing around the area, but all the stormy weather is now pulling out of here. In fact, it's already east of Houston, really having a problem in Louisiana. We're going to have clearing skies. We're going to be looking for improving weather, and by tomorrow we'll be back up into the mid 80s. Got a good weekend coming up, a little on the humid side, but we'll talk about it coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
Wild weather across the country has millions on alert as fires grow in the east and flash floods slam parts of South Texas, where more than a foot of rain fell in the last couple days. ABC's Jacqueline Lee has more.
Fires erupting across the Carolinas, leaving millions on high alert. Nearly 7,000 acres in North Carolina scorched 30 miles southeast of Asheville. The Black Cove complex now considered the highest priority fire across the country.
There was ashes falling on us, and the helicopters were hovering over.
In South Carolina, more than 10,000 acres burned, including the Table Rock complex fire, which borders the Tar Heel state. More than 1,400 homes and businesses evacuated, including Nicole Taylor. Her family moved to their home 6 months ago.
I didn't know how long we had to pack because it was a mandatory evacuation. So we basically, it's me, my fiance, and our 2 kids. So everybody grabbed a bag of clothes and grabbed like their devices and our sentimental stuff.
The Carolinas still recovering after Hurricane Helene devastated Asheville, North Carolina.
We made it through that, and we're like, okay, if we can make it through that, we can make it through anything. And unfortunately, fire is not one thing that we can fight.
Life-threatening weather also hitting the South. In Texas, a flash flood emergency issued multiple times for South McAllen and Harlingen, with the area receiving 6 to 12 inches of rain. In some areas, 18 inches in the past 48 hours. First responders are racing to complete dozens of water rescues, cars stranded in higher than waist-deep water. One of those rescued, a pregnant woman having contractions near a Walmart.
We were able to get her using one of our fire engines to one of the local facilities here to get her that higher advanced level of medical care that she needed.
Meantime, firefighters in North Carolina are working around the clock to contain the fire that has been raging out of control. Officials warning many homes and potentially lives are at risk. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The Lavaca County community is invited to make a real impact at the 3rd annual Lavaca River Cleanup. It's scheduled for Saturday, April 5th in downtown Hallettsville. Things kick off at 8 a.m. Splitting into 2 teams and getting to work in just 45 minutes, volunteers will tackle trash and leave the river looking better than ever. Last year's crew had a blast and walked away feeling great about giving back. This annual cleanup aims to improve the Lavaca River's condition and promote environmental awareness. Superior Health Plan's CEO, whom lawmakers grilled about the company's alleged hiring of private investigators, was reportedly fired after the inquiry was announced. To read the full Texas Tribune article, visit crossroadstoday.com. It's time to get ready to vote. You must be registered by April 3rd in order to be eligible to vote in the May election. Early voting runs April 22nd through April 29th. Mail-in ballot applications are due by April 22nd, and Election Day is May 3rd. Don't miss out. The city of Seadrift will not be hearing the cracking of bats this spring at the local sports complex. City leaders say a temporary safety solution isn't enough to fully resolve issues at the fields. 25 News Now weekend anchor Amaya Norman joins us with details. Amaya.
Yes, Shawna, thank you. City leaders are working hard to address ongoing concerns at the sports complex, but after further evaluation, they have determined a more extensive fix is necessary. The facility is in need of a major electrical overhaul. In collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce, city leaders are gathering quotes so they can fund and implement the necessary repairs. Mayor Pro Tem Tracy Johnson says the safety of residents, especially children, is what's most important.
Our littles that we just love out there, and I know it's Little League season, you know, their care, their safety is my #1 concern. It was not an easy decision to come to, but we needed to go ahead and make that call. I don't want to see.
There's no set timeline for when the park will reopen. City leaders are urging patience as they work towards a long-term solution. Until those issues are fixed, the ball field and park will remain closed. Shawna, back to you.
Thank you, Amaya. Well, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Vice President Vance visits Greenland amid tension over Trump's push for annexation. Plus, the biggest 3-day spike yet in the Texas measles outbreak. Officials say the outbreak is spreading.
Here's a look at what you can expect on Community Crossroads. We hear from the Restoration House Ministries, the Victoria ISD. We learn about BPI home tours and Keep Victoria Beautiful.
Be able to clean up a lot of places all over Victoria, right?
Yeah.
Because the bigger impact, the more people, the bigger impact. So we'll put you what we call it as a remote location, and we'll get you set up with supplies. You'll come and get them.
A major blow to a multi-billion-dollar agency that fought poverty and hunger worldwide. Today, the State Department told Congress it is shutting down USAID, moving some functions to other agencies. The reorganization wraps up by July 1st. Closing a Congress-established agency without lawmakers' input is expected to spark legal challenges. For weeks, the Trump administration has been working to dismantle USAID, freeze foreign aid, and cut contracts. Thousands of employees have been fired or placed on leave, leaving fewer than 900 still on the job last week. Vice President J.D. Vance leads a delegation to Greenland. His trip comes as the Trump administration has spoken repeatedly about the president's idea to annex the island, an idea that Denmark and Greenland have firmly rejected. Julia Benbrook has details on today's trip and how the itinerary changed over the last few days.
This trip changed a lot over the last few days. When the White House first announced it, they said that Second Lady Usha Vance would be leading a delegation to Greenland to celebrate the local culture of an island that President Donald Trump speaks frequently about annexing. The trip plans quickly became contentious, with the leader of the semi-autonomous Danish territory calling the visit, quote, highly aggressive. Vice President J.D. Vance decided to join the trip, posting this on social media.
There was so much excitement around Usha's visit to Greenland this Friday that I decided that I didn't want her to have all that fun by herself, and so I'm going to join her.
The trip plans then changed. The Vances visited a U.S. military installation miles away from any civilian population center. The vice president criticizing the Danish government while he was there.
Our argument is very simple. It is not with the people of Greenland, who I think are incredible and have an incredible opportunity here. Our argument really is with the leadership of Denmark, which is underinvested in Greenland and underinvested in its security architecture.
Just hours before the Vances arrived, Greenland's four leading parties formed a coalition government, shutting out a staunch pro-independence party that had expressed interest in working with the United States. Greenland is home to about 57,000 people, and the new coalition members represent about 75% of voters. Reporting at the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
The number of measles cases in Texas has risen to 400, a spike of 73 cases over the last 3 days. State officials say 41 of those patients have been hospitalized. Most of the measles cases reported since January are centered in Gaines County. 2 more counties now report cases as well. The 73 new cases confirmed since Tuesday show the biggest surge in cases over a 3-day period since the outbreak started. Of those new cases, 44 of them have been in Gaines County, mostly in children under the age of 18. This Sunday, World Bipolar Day will be observed globally, a time to raise awareness and reduce the stigma that's often associated with this mental illness. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has 5 facts about bipolar disorder that experts say everyone should know.
In the U.S., around 6 million adults live with bipolar disorder. Experts say it's a mental illness that many misunderstand. And the first thing to know is that it's more than just one type, including bipolar 1, which is characterized by mania, with symptoms like elevated mood, racing thoughts, increased energy, being more impulsive or taking risks, and irritability. These last for a week or longer. Then there's bipolar 2, which is characterized by a depressive episode.
And a depressive episode is 2 weeks or longer of symptoms such as lack of interest, irritability, reduced energy, and of course sad mood for more days than not over that 2-week period.
Psychologist Louisa Sylvia with Mass General Hospital says the next thing to know is that most of those diagnosed and treated for bipolar disorder function well and recover from symptoms. Third, Sylvia says it typically takes about a decade to get a correct diagnosis simply because of a lack of knowledge around this disorder. Fourth, she says about half of bipolar disorder patients also face other conditions at the same time, like anxiety, an eating disorder, or substance use disorder. Finally, if you're experiencing symptoms of bipolar disorder, help is out there. Sylvia says primary care physicians can help find a treatment that's right for you, but early detection is important.
The more episodes you actually experience of bipolar disorder, evidence suggests that makes it more difficult to treat.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Sylvia says one big challenge with bipolar disorder is the lack of mental health professionals. More than a quarter of Americans live in areas without enough providers. To help, Mass General Hospital is working to expand access, including training non-clinical providers to offer extra support.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. We have a few little drips here and there, but by and large, the heavy rain has pulled out of here. You can see where it's going. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll be taking a look at that. Our temperature now still fairly cool. We're looking at 73 degrees. We'll be back to the 80s by tomorrow. Rainfall totals, well, we'll take a look at all of those around the areas. For today, only 1,700 at the airport, but I think I got more than that in my shoes. We'll be talking more about that coming up in a moment.
Get ready for the madness. Think you know college hoops? Prove it. Enter the Final Four Frenzy presented by Coastal Bend College. Put your bracket up against sports director Max Williams and weekend sports reporter Ray Robinson. Dribble on over to crossroadstoday.com to enter on the contest page. Win it all and score a family 4-pack with a hotel stay and a roundup golf for 2 at Moody Gardens in Galveston. The Final Four Frenzy presented by Coastal Bend College. Brackets locked soon. Enter now.
Well, good evening, everybody. We are here sort of taking analysis of everything that happened to us over the past couple of days. Pretty amazing. We hadn't had any real rainfall since July of last year, and then all of a sudden in 2 days, but it was a record holder for a lot of people. Storm total, this is for the whole week basically, 3.75 at the Victoria Airport. Corpus Christi got 3 inches, Placido got 2.45. 3 inches down in Port Lavaca. They did get a lot down there along the Matagorda County area, and Goliad got 4 inches of rainfall. Let me show you what happened in the valley. This is just unprecedented. Brownsville's down here, McAllen's like about here, and all of these towns, and you know they're all sort of lined up in a row, so that would be Far, San Juan, Alamo, Weslaco. They got up to 19 inches of rain, a year's total, in the last day or so, and massive flooding has been occurring here. All of these places have water 2 feet high in many areas. Homes, cars flooded. It's really a catastrophe down there. It's a hurricane without a hurricane. How about that? The rainfall was just tremendous. Now here's the city. You can see right there, a few lingering sprinkles here, but the main event is now pushed off to the east, and they're of course having their problems. Here's the Louisiana state line right about there, and just getting into the Lake Charles area, we've got some severe thunderstorms popping part of that system. Here's another view of it. Here is Victoria. You can see how we do have some shower activity left over down in Matagorda County, but the main event is now up here excuse me, that all of this in red that you see here, that's a tornado watch. So it's a big concern for them for the next few hours. As you can see, the stormy weather now rolling up there, but things have settled down for us. Atmosphere is quieting down, and things should be much nicer as we head on into the weekend. In the valley, they're going to be picking up the pieces for a long time. So again, this is a tornado watch. Of course, this over here in Louisiana is a flood advisory. So as we take a look at our clouds and radar, you can see how the center of the system that caused all that thing, you can almost see it right about there. And like I said, it's like a hurricane without a hurricane, and all of the big stuff's now rolling east. Had a little frontal system up here in the Rockies. It is going to be here on Monday. It's not a huge thing, but it will bring us some drier air, and that will actually cool us down for just a tad. I mean, it's more dry air than any kind of cooling. Here's Future Tracker, a sprinkle or two possible along the immediate coastline left over from yesterday's rain. And then by the time we get to the weekend, we're looking partly cloudy and looking a lot better. Here's a Future Tracker. You can see the clouds beginning to thin out, and you can see how all that stormy weather is pulling away. For tomorrow in Port Lavaca, looking pretty good. A little sprinkle or shower. These are very light left over. Otherwise, you'll see a little sun getting you up into the 80s. Cuero, you're getting a little sun after a morning clouds of fog. And then our 7-day forecast will show you how we are looking at improving weather. Partly cloudy for Saturday, Sunday, high in mid-80s. And through the next 7 days, there's just a sprinkle chance possibility on Monday with that little front. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. And here's Shawna.
All right, well, the farmers probably are appreciating the rain that we got. But if you missed the latest episode of Let's Grow Texas Ag, no worries, you have another shot. You can catch it Saturday at 11 a.m. on KXTS CBS 41 or stream it on Zeem. Joe Adams takes a look at the poultry industry this week, so don't miss out. Coming up, a major pharmacy chain is paying millions of dollars to settle allegations of overbilling Medicaid in 2 states. We'll have the details. The Dow closed down more than 700 points today, putting all 3 major indexes in the red for the trading week. Here are closing numbers for the week. The Dow finished down 716 points. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 lost 112 points and the Nasdaq lost 481 points. Oil is down 88 cents to $69.04 per barrel. Some AT&T customers will be paying a little more for service. The carrier announced it will soon trim its monthly auto pay discount. Starting April 24th, the rebate will go down to $5, half of what it was before. The discount ends altogether for those enrolled with a credit card that is not the AT&T Points Plus card. There is an exception. The $10 rebate will remain for customers enrolled with a bank account. Analysts say this move is being made to try to encourage people to sign up with a bank account in order to avoid potential credit card processing fees. Americans are more worried about the rising unemployment than they have been in over 15 years. The University of Michigan released its latest survey today, finding consumer sentiment tanked 12% this month. Respondents blamed President Trump's erratic trade war for their concerns. The survey's director said 2/3 of consumers expect unemployment to rise in the year ahead, the highest reading since 2009. Those worries come on top of increasing fears of higher inflation, with Trump set to announce a sweeping spate of tariffs in a few days. The U.S. economy remained relatively solid in February. According to the latest information from the Commerce Department, consumer spending rose by 0.4%. The data also shows the personal consumption expenditures price index increased 2.5% last month from a year ago. However, some economists are warning things could change in the near future. They say the Trump administration's new tariffs on auto imports and other levies could result in higher prices overall. Walgreens will pay $2.8 million to settle claims it overbilled Medicaid in Georgia and Massachusetts for 15 years. The Justice Department says the pharmacy chain inflated prices on some generic drugs, forcing state programs to overpay. A whistleblower filed the lawsuit on behalf of the government. Stay with us. Still to come, Betty White's legacy lives on as the U.S. Postal Service unveils a forever stamp featuring the iconic actress.
Coming up, the soaring death toll and the massive earthquake across Southeast Asia, buildings collapsing, the frantic search for the missing. Here at home, deadly floods and wildfires and the major cross-country storm, and Vice President Vance in Greenland next.
She was America's golden girl, and now Betty White is getting a forever tribute. On Thursday, the U.S. Postal Service unveiled the Betty White Forever stamp during a ceremony at the Los Angeles Zoo and Botanical Gardens. The stamp features the beloved actress, comedian, and animal rights activist with her warm smile and iconic blonde curls, wearing a polka dot top and a paw print earring to symbolize her love for animals. You can buy the collectible stamps on the USPS website and at the post office locations nationwide. White's career spanned over 6 decades, best known for starring in The Mary Tyler Moore Show, The Golden Girls, of course, and Hot in Cleveland. She died in 2021, just weeks before her 100th birthday. I have a feeling that may become a collector stamp.
Yeah, lots of people do that. Then that would be one of them. First issue is always a big thing, but she was a funny lady, that's for sure.
Yes, she was. Even, I remember when she parachuted into the, I think it was the Super Bowl.
Oh my God.
I think.
I didn't see that one.
Something like that, yeah.
I missed that one, boy, I tell you. But hey, folks, the weekend is here. The good news is the rain was here, and the better news is the rain has left. In fact, we're looking for improving conditions and a pretty good looking weekend. A little steamy, but in the mid 80s.
All right, start drying out a little bit. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here at 6.